Welcome back to the Wizard's Island. Well, not my island, but it is Amelia Island. This is the 2021 Concours d'Elegance. This is the car show of all car shows, the creme de la creme when it comes to car shows. We're going to take a look around today. These beautiful cars. These are museum pieces. There really isn't a car show, it's a museum. It's amazing. Let's go take a look around. So here we are with Jared from Wrench Every Day, and we stopped by this area, this entire line of cars behind me. It's all electric. It's easy to say that electric cars are the future. They're actually the past. All these cars are from the teens, the 20s, electric cars. It's amazing. Let's take a look at them. Here's a 1921 Milburn. If you check on the tires, non-skid. It even says it right on the tire.
Yeah, as opposed to the skidding tires.
Yeah.
Early ABS?
Some sort of a form of ABS, yeah.
The great part, when you consider, you try to figure out why you had an electric car so early, right as the Model A and everything else was coming out, is people still rode horse and buggy.
Right.
Like half of them look like buggies that you draw behind a horse. Mm-hmm. And when you had cars and horses together, the cars were scaring them, so they pushed and wanted to buy the electric cars because you wouldn't scare the horses as much.
They didn't make noise, right?
Yeah, and somehow the horses got shoved off the road, and now we're suddenly back going to electric.
Yeah, we're going back to electric. It's pretty funny. Let's move on down the line.
So this one here would be the original Model P performance model with ludicrous mode, as it's a twin motor.
It's got dual motors, guys. 1895 is when this was made. Before the 1900s even. One motor for each wheel. Tesla did not invent the dual motor. Isn't that crazy?
It's all I like the appropriate fix. That's the Band-Aid to just make it work so you can get where you need to go. I don't know that that's from the 1800s though. That looks a little more current.
Yeah, probably 2008 or something. Yeah. These are serious race cars here.
Yeah, very serious. I think the more serious part about these cars were the drivers. These are the early 1900s where there was no safety.
Right.
It was the least amount of car. Sometimes, you know, now these aren't, but there's some built out of fuel cells from planes, and it was the biggest engine, and you just drove. You would be covered in oil.
Right.
Some of them you have to manually pump fuel. And it's just amazing when you look at these machines and realize, okay, race times, 90 mile an hour. Doesn't sound fast in today's cars, but you're sitting on a flat bench with nothing around you, going 90 miles an hour.
You literally could fly out.
Yeah. So I look at these cars and I think I'd like to say I'm enough to want to drive one at full speed and take it into a corner like they used to. But I don't know that they make us men like they used to back.
I don't think I could do it.
It's spectacular to see these cars out in person. We've got the BNC, the big old Bentley Bruiser Cruiser behind it, and Alfa Romeo race cars, and again, brands some you've heard of, some you've never heard of, and all of them an important piece of our automotive history that has led to the modern, sport compact. Everything comes back to roots. And it's important to remember this stuff and come out and not only just enjoy seeing them, but learn a little bit so we can keep carrying it on and remember the absolute daredevil, brave people that drove these things.
It's a real man's race car. I imagine after a serious race, after they won or lost, whatever happened, they were all completely wiped out.
Yeah, just collapse and sleep.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you just won. Just curl up in a ball sleeping
Fall
afterwards.
Down and go to sleep, yeah.
The energy it takes and the effort and heat.
There's no power steering.
No power anything.
No power brakes, nothing, yeah.
Mechanically linked brakes and just fantastic cars.
Very cool. Here we are in the Hispano-Suiza section. This is a 1938. What kind of mods could you do to this car, Jared?
Well, it's already got like the beautiful form factor and aerodynamic look, so I mean, you just LS swap it, right? And you put an LS in everything, or Honda K swap, or...
I think you might get murdered if you were to LS swap this car.
I mean, that doesn't look like a power plant looking at the bare chassis next to it. So I feel like there's some room for upgrade. You know what, let's do a 2JZ swap. Toyota Supermotor, we'll borrow the one that we saw on the Concours.
A 2JZ swapped Hispano-Suiza.
I don't think there's much headroom in there though.
Let's take a look at the interior, guys. It's like a bubble.
Nice little bubble, so if you sat in the middle, you could fit all right, and you need to have children that are not very wide to sit behind you.
Very young.
And they can't have legs either.
They can't have legs. I guess not.
It looks like the window mechanism is kind of a cool thing where it just kind of kicks out.
Yeah, it kind of kicks up.
Very much like airplane inspired.
Yeah. It needs a touchscreen dash though.
Yeah. To make it just right.
Yeah.
Is that like a, I'm trying to look at the hinge, it almost looks like there's a small fold-out door.
Something different over there than it is here.
Oh, is the door different on each side?
I think so. I think when the door opens, you only get an actual small section to get in. And there's a panel to get to the rear tire. You just turn the knobs and...
Better than the, what is it, the El Dorado Cadillac that has the similar panel, but you've got to like reach up and blind turn a couple bolts to get it off. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to service a tire, so why not just make it part of the styling of the car? And
it's very cool. I like how it comes to a point at the back.
Right. Well, if you look, those are, and that's the shape of the car. That,
kind of
like
is.
Every little exterior fixture is kind of formed into the car, which you don't get that anymore.
No. It's a beautiful tail end.
Would not want to back into anything because that cannot be cheap.
Probably can't be repaired to make it look like it was. It's a 1959 Ford Galaxy with a retractable top. A lot of us see convertible tops of cars where the convertible top actually collapses, it's cloth, and then gets stowed away, but this is solid. The entire thing goes in the trunk. You pretty much lose your trunk space at that point. But it does have a little bin to carry things, so when the top does go down, at least you have some storage space. A Skyliner. You like the color, Mrs. Wizard?
It's the era of pink.
What is it, coral?
Yeah.
Beautiful color.
The rest of the body stampers, the doors, the front fenders, everything else the same.
Oh, those are really cool tail lights. They're like little jet engines.
Very iconic for this era.
Yep. Skyliner 500. So not every car here is perfect and pristine and brand new. Some of them are in their original condition, untouched, unmolested. Just like this 1957 Corvette with the Fuelie engine. Let's take a look. Looks like at one time it was gold and it's kind of faded off. You can see the mechanical fuel injection on top of the engine there. That's old school fuel injection, very old. Small block Chevy. Take a look at the interior. Looks like it's got an award in it. Similar to a barn find, I guess. Very, very cool. 1972 Otis with an 850cc engine, less than 1 liter. There's so many cool engines that could fit in this chair.
Oh, I mean, there's any number of 4 cylinders because the reason they ran so small is cheating and working that gray area of rules and emissions and regulations. So by having it small, they could get away with a lot. So you could go with a bigger Fiat engine. You can go with a Yugo engine, as weird as it is, or something modern and 4-cylinder and turbo.
An Ecotec?
Ecotec.
Yes.
That would turn this into a proper death trap, I think.
I think it would be overpowered.
Yeah. Which is sometimes just the right amount of power, too much, so.
Yeah. Very cool car, though. From the distance, it looks like a normal sized car, but once you get up to it, you're like, oh.
Anything next to me kind of looks like a small car, but this isn't. You're next to it, and it's a small car.
Yeah. It's a Mark III.
Yeah.
This is Ford versus Ferrari, right out of the Ford versus Ferrari movie.
Yeah, just past that. I believe the Mark III is the one that came Just after that, actually, they depicted and showed the crash at the end. This was the chassis they were developing. I love this car. I'd love to drive one.
Yeah.
But that will never happen.
You probably can't fit in it.
I think the door would close on my neck. A semi-well-known fact: the GT40 is the roof of the car is 40 inches from the ground.
From the ground. That's what the 40 is.
Yeah, they are such amazing cars. It's one of the few times a movie did a good job depicting the history of a car. Obviously, there's some stuff left for the drama to excite it, but it is always exciting to see a GT40 because it was really the first time an American maker, past the 50s got serious about road racing.
Taking them on,
and just went absolutely crazy with it. And they're stunning cars, and it's kind of crazy to see it just kind of in the normal line, and it's not tucked away into a very special spot, because these are very, very special cars.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
What do you think about this Supra?
Well, one, I never imagined a day that a Toyota Supra would be in a supercar concourse entrant. That's times have changed, and they earn their spot there.
Yeah.
This is actually kind of, if you were going to do a stereotypical right build, clean build, this has everything. The CCWs, the front lip, just everything done about it is very, very clean. There's a lot of attention to detail, and it belongs on the grounds. But again, like if you were to open up the catalog, I want the Forums built Supra. This is it, but this is done very clean with the big turbo.
Done very well.
Right-hand drive. So I dig the car.
Let's take a look at the engine. Look at that turbo, guys. Huge.
Yeah, thank you. That was part of
And Jared says they can be much larger.
They come with much bigger. It's a lot of powerhouse parts. Upgraded radiator and electric fans on it. Nice big intake. The engine bay's been fully shaved, where all the unnecessary holes are welded and filled and painted. It's done well. It's got a custom wiring harness that cleans up and goes straight back instead of across the top.
Done very well.
Basically, the minimalistic required to make it perfect.
Yep.
they were tuning it with a
Very, very cool. This essentially is a supercar.
Yeah, a supercar.
Supercar, yeah.
It's the supercar.
Yeah. It's starting to get really packed in here, and our filming time is pretty much over because it gets very difficult to film anything. But before it got too busy, we wanted to show you guys some of the really cool cars. Like Jared mentioned, that there's brands here, there's cars here that you just don't see any other time of the year. They go into storage, and you don't see them again until next year. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll be coming here probably every year to check out these cars. We were honored to I was honored to get to judge the Cars and Coffee yesterday, and actually a BMW one. We judged and chose a 1988 BMW M3 wide body. That was one of the contestants that won. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. There's got many more cool videos to come, but we made sure to get a Concours d'Elegance video for you guys. And thanks to Wrench Every Day for following us around and giving us some insight on some cars.
As I said, thanks for having me. I had to run away for a little bit. We had some car issues with Car Trek, but we're back on brand for that. So it's fun to look around and hang out with everyone.
That's right. Car Trek 5 is in the process of being filmed. You guys are going to enjoy that. If you enjoyed 4, you're going to really enjoy 5. Make sure you check for it here in a few months when it comes out. Thanks for watching.